Hey, Dr. Tom Preston here, and if you want to move the needle in your life, live more authentically, have better work-life balance, and get paid better for the amazing service you offer, stay tuned to these videos because this is a best of compilation we've created to help you move the needle as efficiently and effectively as possible. So good luck, enjoy, have some fun with these. I know you're going to get tremendous value. All right, Head Coach Tom here with you, and I want to teach you how to make your report of findings so incredibly simple that you're never going to be stressed about doing a report again. I've definitely talked to docs in the past who felt like, report of findings were like their death sentence, right? They were all stressed out and freaked out about doing that. And when you do what I'm about to teach you, you'll find that your report of findings are 1,000 times easier. So you're going to stay with me to the end of this video to make sure that you get all of the details. So the basics here, what we're going to do with this patient, Shelley, is I'm going to be reviewing her case history, okay? Because if you do this at the start of the report of findings, you create context, because usually it's at least a day or two or three or sometimes more before the person's back into the office. And they've actually forgotten some of the details. They were kind of overwhelmed and freaked out when they were coming in to see you the first time anyways. And so for them, it's a chance to review and create the context upon which you're going to deliver the educational content. Okay? Most people think the content's the important part. No! It's the context within which you deliver the content that's really the key. I learned that years ago when I had a practice member who I was doing a very long-winded, very intellectual, very academic report of findings in, and her eyes kind of fluttered and they kind of rolled back in her head, and I swear to God she had a petite mal seizure right in the middle of the report of findings. I went, okay, well that's just not the best way to do that, right? So again, what we're going to do is we're going to do a review of the history, review of the intake visit, so that this patient, Shelley, here is right up to speed. And then as I shot another video where you're asking them how they want to be treated, what kind of a program of care you're going to set up for them, it makes it a whole lot easier to do the report. So again, this is not going to be going over the entire report of findings, just the initial piece. And we're going to be setting the context by doing a review of the initial visit. All right? So we're going to get into rapport, we're going to get into character here. So hello, Shelley, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
So what I want to do today in our report of findings is go over the details, report on the findings that I saw the other day when I saw you. So when you come in to see me, you definitely were having some trouble with your neck and headaches, correct?
Yeah.
And this is not the first time this has happened, correct?
No.
But what I remember you saying was that what actually stimulated you to take action is because you couldn't actually be comfortable playing with your grandchildren as much anymore. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's rarely the symptoms, the headaches, the back pain, the hemorrhoids, the cancer that brings people in to see us. It's commonly how those things are interfering with something that you value in your life. And obviously your grandchildren are quite important to you.
Very much.
You got 3, I think, right?
Yeah.
What are their names?
Finley, Lincoln, and Hadley.
Oh, 2 boys and a girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So again, going over the findings from the other day, we talked about the initial presenting complaints, where we were talking about the fact that these headaches were coming more commonly now, correct? Mm-hmm. Sometimes showing up 2 and 3 times a week. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. And also the duration of them was longer. They were lasting longer, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. And the over-the-counter meds you were trying just weren't cutting it much anymore, right? And the radiations, you definitely felt some radiations into your neck and maybe even into this left shoulder. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So then as we went back through your past history, what we realized was that there was incidents, and again, based upon research back even into the 60s, Taubman's research, that showed that 88% of all children born into Western culture were subluxated, is the word we use, by the birth process, right? As we went back through, you told me that you actually had a bit of a tough birth, right? There was a bit of dystocia of the shoulder and stuff, and kind of tugged and pulled on a little bit. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. And then sadly, you never saw a chiropractor at that time, so we don't know if there was a nerve system interference. But based upon your health history, you're telling me that you were prone to ear infections and upper respiratory tract infections as a youngster. It tends to lead us towards the possibility that there was tension in the nerve system at the top of the neck from birth that is, bringing us to where we are today. Right? And again, we can't know that, but we can go from association, from experience, and think that that's a high probability. Okay? Mm-hmm. Why that's important, folks, right, is because when there is a long-standing history of nerve system interference, patterns of subluxation in the nerve system, again, a pattern or a habit that's been around for 40 years is going to be a whole lot tougher to change than one that's been around for just a few years, right? Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, a lot of parents who know that, Shelley, or grandparents who know that, that's why we have so many kids in our office, right? It's because parents and grandparents, when they really understand that these problems start oftentimes in childhood, and if left uncorrected, it leads to future health problems, man, they say, I want to get my kids and grandkids checked. So I'll be happy to check the grandkids someday for you.
Would love that.
Okay, so then as we go through your childhood here, I see that you, what was this happen with a bike or a trike? What happened? You got smacked on the melon with a bike? A bike handlebar? Tell me that story again.
I was flipping a bike over with my friend, and the handlebars came down on my head and punctured my skull and left an indent.
Yeah, that can't have been fun. I mean,
no,
that was not fun at all. Okay, so again, based upon your conversation the other day, you certainly were checked out at the hospital because you had a puncture in your skull, but your functional nerve system from the neck down was not checked, correct?
Yeah.
Again, high risk of subluxation from that, right? And then again, was it 12 or 13? You fell out of the tree and broke your arm?
12.
12, yeah. Okay, so imagine concussion of forces coming through your body enough to break a bone. Again, sadly, no disrespect to your folks, but they didn't know to get your nerve system checked. And so again, there's another layer of damage to the nerve system that brings us to where we are. And then you told me you'd slid that car into the ditch when you're 20s, right? You've had a few births yourself, right? Which is a somewhat traumatic experience.
Oh, and I also fell off the roof.
Oh, tell me about that again. That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I fell off the roof and landed on an aluminum ladder and broke it.
Wow, and that must have been traumatic.
Yes, that was not great.
And did you get checked out at the hospital?
Oh yeah, checked out and sent home.
Sent home, right? No nerve system diagnostic test done, no check for subluxations, none of that stuff, right?
No.
So again, what I believe is going on here, Shelley, right, is that there is a long-standing series of events that have brought you to where you are today with these headaches and neck pain. And again, as I told you the other day at our very first visit, there's no question I can help you. There's no question. We've helped hundreds and hundreds, and actually at this point probably thousands of people with problems like this. But again, and based upon your conversation with me the other day, you said, I don't want a quick fix. I don't want a Band-Aid put on this to fall off. I want to get the problem professionally corrected. So what I've laid out for you, Shelley, is a complete corrective care program, and I'll be going through that with you in the next phase of our conversation, okay?
Great.
All right, super. And folks, that's really as simple as it is, right? You're doing a contextual history. Most docs do a pretty good job at doing present history complaint, right? And looking at, in my time at university, it was the Dr. Ficarroll mnemonic, right? Duration, radiations, frequency, intensity, character, aggravating, relieving factors, associated and lifestyle factors. And there's nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, most jurisdictions will require you to do that. But what most docs miss the boat on is doing past history questions, to look at the series of events that brought people to this state of dysfunction, dys-ease, that brings them into your office at the time. So reviewing that, asking the questions of the intake, and then reviewing it at the report of findings will make your report of findings easier than you've ever had done them before. Dr. Tom signing off, helping you become more so you can do more and have more of what your authentic heart desires.